Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new YouTube video. Today I am going to be telling or teaching you how to use C# to create a chat spammer. As you can see right here, I have actually already done this tutorial, but I thought I could do it a bit better because throughout the video I discovered some different things and some different ideas came to mind. However, I am going to be doing it again. I've already done this tutorial using Visual Basic, however now I'm going to be doing it using C#, which they're pretty much like kind of similar. Visual Basic's a bit of like a weaker version of C#, but you know, whatever. So what we're going to be doing is going to File, New, Project, and under Visual C#, we're going to be going to Windows Forms app in the .NET framework. I am going to call this C# spammer. I'm currently using Microsoft Visual Studio 2017, Community 2017 that is, which is like the latest version. If you have any other versions lower than this, it should still work, unless you're using like Visual Studio 1 maybe, I don't know. I literally don't know, but it should work anyway. So we're going to click OK and allow that to create our project for us. I don't care. And yeah, then we're going to get right into it as soon as it creates the project. Any minute. Okay, so now we have this beautiful little form. I'm going to call it Sandra. So we're going to go to text right here, and we'll call it Sandra. That's what the form's called. Okay. Now, but seriously, we'll just give it a little name like C# spammer. You know, no biggie. Now, just as we did in the Visual Basic tutorial, we need 4 things for the simple version of this. We need 2 buttons, a text box. You can use a rich text box, whatever it is. However, I'm just going to be using a normal one, and we need a timer. So for the basic tutorial, I am going to I'm gonna make it very basic. So let me just create some sizable buttons. Oh wait. Okay, so now we have button 1. For the time being, we'll just close this up a bit. We have button 1 and button 2. Right, button 1, we're going to change the text to start, and actually I'm just going to completely close Steam down so we don't get any of them annoying things. Right, so we've got the start button and the stop button. Now we're going to change. I am going to change the actual name of the buttons to CMD start, which is like short for command start, and CMD stop. This is what we're going to reference them as in the code when we get to it. And timer 1 can stay as timer 1. That name can stick. The interval right here is, as it says, the frequency of elapsed events in milliseconds. So this is the speed the timer will tick, measured in milliseconds, which 1000 milliseconds is equal to 1 second. So the default being 100 milliseconds, that is 0.1 seconds. Hopefully that made sense. So we're just going to keep that as default for right now. And now we're going to get into the actual code. We're going to double click on our start button, and well, yeah, basically right here. This is all the code for the program, blah blah blah. We can close that down a bit because we don't need that. Right, in CMD start underscore click, which is what happens when the button is clicked, we're going to type a very simple line of code: timer1.enabled equals true. And since we're in C#, we close all lines of code off with a semicolon, just like that. Now we go over to the design and go back to well, I mean, go over to the stop button, double click it, and you guessed, timer1.enabled equals false. So when the start button is clicked, it will enable timer 1. When a stop button is clicked, it will disable timer 1. Very simple. Now we're going to double click on the timer, and two simple lines of code, or two very simple lines of code I should say. Send keys dot send, and then in brackets the name of your text box. In my case, mine is textbox1 dot text. So the name of your text box followed by dot text, and close that off, and then under that send keys dot send, then open brackets, open quotation marks, curly brace bracket, enter with a capital E, and close that off. So basically what this does is, well, at the minute this is, we're finished, this is the most simple form of it. What it does is, once you click the start button, it will enable timer 1, and what timer 1 does is every time it ticks, it's going to send everything that is in text box 1, followed by hitting or sending the enter key, which in most chat applications the enter key is to send message. So we will quickly hit start to debug it. I have AVG, so it's gonna bring up a little thing down here to make sure there's no malicious code. I'm just gonna close that off and let it restart. So this is our spammer at the moment. I'm gonna open Notepad, and we will type in hello, hit start, and there we go. It's gonna spam that message. And that is basically it. That is the spammer finished in its most simple form. However, there are more things we can do to it. For example, if we wanted to change the speed of the timer and the speed of how fast it sent a message. So there's a few ways we can do this. One way that I actually like is a menu strip. So I'm going to drag the form down a bit and just make some space at the top, and we're going to grab a menu strip, and this is like a typical menu strip, like right here for example, where we have file, edit, view, blah blah blah. Ours is going to say interval, or we'll change it to speed. For if you release this, then most people will know what speed means, obviously, more than interval. So in speed we can create some options. We'll create an option for 100 or 50 milliseconds. We'll create an option for 100 milliseconds and 200 milliseconds and 1 second, for example. We'll just create 4 simple options. So what we can now do is go to this, and actually what we'll do first is change the names of all these options. So interval, interval 50. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it because it's going to be easier to recognize. So this function right here, this button, is called interval 50. We'll change this one to interval 100, interval 200, and it's just a lot easier than rather than have it called second tool strip menu item, or in this case, oh well, that's gone. We can just call it interval, we'll call it interval 1000 for 1000 milliseconds. So right, we're going to double click on the interval 50, which is the 50 millisecond one, and we're going to do timer1 dot interval equals 50. So now that will, the speed of the timer will be equivalent to 50 milliseconds. It already knows that it is in milliseconds because that's what the timer's in. Go back to our design, double click 100, and we can actually just copy the line of code and just change it. 200 milliseconds and 1000 milliseconds, which is 1 second. So yeah, that's that done really easily. We can click start. I need to click that off again. Okay, so we got our notepad here. We can, oh wait, no, we can type hello, select the speed as 50 milliseconds, hit start, and it will do that. And then we can change the speed to 100 milliseconds, and although it didn't really look like much slower, it will do it slower. Then 200 milliseconds, and then 1 every second. There we go. So that is our spammer and different speeds done. Now we can clear this once again, and now I'm going to show you how to add more text boxes for sending more lines of code. Okay, so here we can create a new item in the menu strip called text boxes. We can have an option for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So we're just going to quickly change the names of these text boxes 1, text boxes 2, text boxes 3. I'll actually just copy this to make it faster. 4 and 5. Okay, so the call text boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we're going to do is click on the first one, and oh wait, no, actually we don't need that. One thing I am going to show you is, and this is a bit of a lengthy process, and there probably are 1 minute, let me just fix this. There probably are different ways to fix this, but I mean, different way to do this, I should say, but I'm just going to do it this way because most people know what if statements are rather than using cases and stuff like that. So we are going to use an if statement. If something happens, then do something, and blah blah blah. So what we're going to be doing is, this is a pretty important line of code, or a few lines of code. What we're going to be doing is alright, actually I'm going to add the text boxes in first. So hold on, what we need to do is we'll have the stop and start buttons at the top. Okay, now we need to create some more text boxes. Oh no, we'll have 5 text boxes in total. Okay, so we have text box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we can close that up a bit. Now what we're going to be doing is, oh yeah, we do need to click on these. Okay, so we'll double click on the first one. Oh, hold on. There was a line of code that I deleted, and I need it back. I think, no, it wasn't this. I. Yeah, okay, this is what I needed. Okay, I'm just gonna delete that a quick second. Okay, I think we're just gonna have to recreate this really quick. Oh, no, okay, never mind, it's right here. Okay, so ignore everything I've just done. What you want to do is double click on the one option in the text boxes. And right here, we're gonna we're gonna type, lowercase, text box 2 dot visible equals false. And why is it saying text box 2 doesn't exist? Oh, because it doesn't exist, okay. Yeah, okay, so I had to undo some things, so just bear with me right now. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 5 text boxes in total, yes. Okay, so text box 2.visible equals false. And you want to copy this for however many text boxes you want. So basically, once the user selects how many text boxes they want, that is how many will appear. Actually, we need to make all of these invisible, so go to visible and false, apart from the first one, because that's always going to be visible. So say the user clicks on 1, they only want one text box, then it will make the rest of the text boxes invisible. So as you can see right here, so we're going to copy that, and then we're going to double click on the second option and paste, except we'll change number 2 dot visible to true. So if they click this, then there will be 2 text boxes visible. Hopefully you guys can follow along with this quite easily. Right, third option, do the same, but change number 3 to true. Fourth option, and I actually need to change this one as well. And then fifth option. Okay, so I'll just give you an example of what that does. We have one text box, then we want 2, then we want 3, then we want 4, then we want 5, and then we just want 1, which will make them all disappear as such, and then close off. Right, so I can actually drag that back. So that's done, and now I'm going to give you one example of something which is a bug, kind of, and we need to fix it. Oh, wait, never mind, we haven't even coded the... Okay, so what we need to do is go into the timer1.tick and copy these 2 lines of code, which was the 3rd and 4th lines of code we writ, and copy and paste them like 4 times for like however many text boxes you have, and change the values to 3, 4 and 5. So now when a timer 1 ticks, it will send whatever is in text box 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, right, let's say we have 5 text boxes. Hello YouTube, it's me, Mario, for example, and we'll select the speed of 1 second so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Boom, it will send whatever is in the 5 text boxes just like such, so it can send 5 messages like one after the other. Stop. But what if we only have 1 text box? Then it'll only send hello, surely. No, it is sending whatever is in the other 5 text boxes. So we need to clear them, and let's say we only have 1 text box now. It is still sending a blank space. It's still sending everything from the text boxes, but the other 5 are all blank, so it's only really, you get what I mean. So the way to fix that is a bit of an annoying, lengthy process, and this is what I was going to do before. It is with an if statement. So you'll have to bear with me with this. All the code will be in the description for you guys to copy or maybe download if I post it to GitHub. So what we want to do is if text box 2 dot visible is equal to false, you need to have the 2 equal signs because we're just checking if it's equal to something. We're not defining that it is equal to something, just checking if it is. So if text box 2 dot visible is false, and like with the 2 ampersands, text box 3 dot visible is equal to false, and then we're gonna copy this. Oh, and text box 4 is visible, and then get rid of them to the end. So basically what this if statement is doing is if text box 2, 3, 4 and 5 are all invisible, then, and we want to open the curly brace type brackets, and we want to copy these 2 lines of code and boom, paste them right there. So basically if text box 2, 3, 4 and 5 aren't visible, then it will only send what is in text box 1. Then we want to copy that if statement, give yourself some room here, and copy and paste it right there, except text box 2 dot visible, you want to change that to equals true. And so if text box 2 is visible, then we want to send what is in text box 1 and 2. You don't need to do this for text box 1 because that's always going to be visible. And then we want to copy this again, paste that, except change text box 3 to, oh my Jesus, to true. And we want to get these 6 lines of code, so it'll send what's in text box 1, 2 and 3. Hopefully you guys can obviously understand what it is that I am doing. Change that, and we'll just copy it really quickly. Like that. Then we'll open this. And then we will cut this, open that, and there we go. So basically what this lengthy process is doing is if text box 2, 3, 4 and 5 are invisible, then it'll only send what's in text box 1. If text box 2 is visible but the rest are false, then it'll only send what's in text box 1 and 2, and so on all the way down. And yes, so once we click start and close that shit off, right, so as you can see it was sending a whole bunch of spaces after the message. So let's say we have the word hello at 200 milliseconds. It's got to send the word hello. If we have, oh well, yeah, basically as you can see it's only sending what's in text box 1. It's not sending the blank spaces for text box 2, 3, 4 and 5. Say we have 5, then it's me, Mario, haha, I don't know. It's gonna send that message, like repeatedly. And so we want to go back down to 3 text boxes. Oh. Then once again it's only going to send what's in text box 1, 2 and 3 because the if statement is checking whether text box 4 and 5 are invisible, and they are, so it's not going to send what is in those text boxes. So hopefully that clears that up. Just a little bug fix to help your program run as smoothly as it can. It's a real shame that we have to copy these lines of code like multiple times, because we've had to do that here as well, and there's a lot more lines of code than there needs to be, but what can you do? So we can close that off, and that is basically it. That's all I wanted to really cover in this tutorial, is showing you how to make a spammer in C# with multiple text boxes and multiple different options for speed. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, or if it has helped you, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I'm going to be doing more, like, I do a lot of different videos, but I'm going to be doing more computer, like, tech, well, just tutorials on how to do certain things, like program tutorials, network tutorials, etc. Right now I'm actually, not that you guys need to see this, but well, I don't know, I was just changing the minimum and maximum size, not that that matters. However, yeah, if you've enjoyed this video then leave a like. I've already said all this, but thank you for watching and adios.